Tell me, I've got a. It's not a two-part question, but there's two questions that you might be find yourself you could answer one or the other, and if you want to answer both, even better. It's about kind of interviewing for role in sports. You've obviously been in a position where you've interviewed for a job. Perhaps you've been in a position where people, have been interviewing with you. So I'm not sure which of those. Maybe both are the case. Has there been anything that you have done in maybe any of your interviews that you thought, hey, this really is going to help me differentiate from other people that are interviewing for a similar role? Anything that you can share that you think has helped you along the way during that process?
Yeah, I think that it all goes back again to the versatility. In my career, and I'm young enough to where I'm not far enough removed as, say, someone who's been in it for 30 years, and it's 25 years ago since they last ran a board, or 25 years ago since they last wrote copy for someone else, or had to edit a sound package or something like that. When I took this job, and just basically the way that this industry has changed so much, I mean, you've got to be able to do 3 and 4 different things, and it's not the glamorous things. It's not do 3 and 4 different things in an on-air capacity. It's 2 people called in sick, and it's a Saturday, and so-and-so's out of town. We need you to come in and run the board on your day off, or help someone book guests or help produce a show. And I've done all of those things, and that was the thing that I wanted to let these guys here when I got this job know that I was versatile. And I think it worked out, and I've had to prove that since taking this job. My first month on this job was spring training of 2009, and I ran the board for the spring training games. Part of that was because I knew the technical operations from my last job, the last place that carried the Mariners radio contract, and so I was kind of able to help our engineering staff set that up and say, this is what we did that worked, and this is what we need to do that wasn't working, and that was in no way what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be doing per se, but
sure. And just to kind of come back, how did you show that maybe during the interview? Was it just verbally, hey, you're showing, hey, this is my versatility? I'm just trying to maybe give my viewers a chance to, not steal your ideas specifically,
right?
But in concepts in general, that there's, maybe different ways to be creative, but yet still be true to yourself.
Well, certainly a well-organized resume will speak for itself.
Sure.
And I made a point of that trying to be illustrated on the resume, but also I just tried to sell it in conversation.
Sure.
And when it would come up, hey, I can do a number of different things. Obviously, this is what I want to do. This is where I think I am strongest, but bringing me on is an opportunity to really diversify your workforce, and I think you just have to sell that and be confident and really convey that when the opportunity presents itself conversationally in the interview.
Matt, as we wrap up here, I always like to ask this as my last question. It tends to get some decent information out there. Perhaps somewhere in your high school days as maybe an athlete yourself, or just in your professional work life, maybe someone's dropped some wisdom on you, some pearls of advice that's just stuck, it's resonated, and that you in turn would maybe impart to someone else. Does anything come to mind that you would be willing to share?
As you were asking the question, there are 2 things. One, I briefly mentioned, and that is when I made myself irreplaceable. David Locke he's now in Salt Lake, and he was here in Seattle, did the evening show at KJR for years, and that was one of the first little pearls that he gave me. Was make yourself irreplaceable, because there's always someone who's going to want to do your job as good as you for cheaper.
Sure.
And he's very right about that, but he was also very right about the make yourself irreplaceable thing. And so for anyone that's watching this, especially young people who want to get into this and think that there is a path, there's really not. You need to get your foot in the door and learn to do as many things. There's no dumb question. The only bad question is the one that you don't ask, and that's another pearl that was dropped on me. And the other one was that came from Kevin Kremen, who's been the producer of the Mariners broadcast, the in-house producer with the Mariners for I want to say 27 years, and he said another thing that I think I imparted a little bit early on in this interview, and that was the players play every day, and we work every day, and that's kind of how when I heard that when I was about 23 years old, everything just kind of made sense to me that, okay, there's no complaining about the hours. The hours are going to be tough. The time constraints are going to be tough, but it is what it is, and it could be a whole lot worse.
Matt Pittman, I appreciate you taking some time to share some insight.
Absolutely.
Let's again, do you have a blog or anything that you yourself would like to plug? Well, we have the chance. We can look right there and say, hey, let's give you a little plug. Anything that you can direct people to?
I really don't keep a blog. I keep a blog. Actually, it's really weird. Once the baseball season is over, I automatically switch over into NFL mode, and I cover the Seahawks, and it's mynorthwest.com/Seahawks for Seahawks coverage during the Seahawks season.
What about if people want to obviously put their ears when you're on air? Is there, do you have a set schedule where people, I'm trying to promote you here a little bit. Any way that people can find out when you're on air so they can actually listen to you?
710 ESPN Seattle or mynorthwest.com between 3 and 6 during the sports updates. And then the pre- and post-game shows, they don't allow us to stream it. That is controlled by Major League Baseball. But if you're here in Seattle, please tune in. Please text us. Please call us. We love it.
Matt Pittman, 710 ESPN Seattle. Make sure we get that out correctly. Appreciate you taking the time right here in Voice of the Box.
Absolutely.